Yep. Good morning, everyone. So last session we learned about few events, JavaScript browser events. What are the events? We discussed about mouse events, keyboard events, button events, element state events, element state events. Another one, clipboard events. These are the events we learned, right? So we saw some examples on them, how to use mouse, keyboard, button, element state, clipboard, and all. Next, how to work with other types of events. We have another category. This is timer events. I think I already told you now. Timer events. Timer events means set timeout, set interval. I told you already. One loading example I showed you. Date, when we learned about date and time, how to display the time ticking. We learned about set time. Example, which example we saw? Timer. We learned about how to use timer events also actually. I think in date concept I explained you. In the date concept, we learned about timer events. So displaying date and time. Some example is that I showed you how to display the time now. In some example, it is that. So what are the timer events? Let me give you the list here. Generally, timer events, we have the timer events. We are having set timeout, clear timeout, set interval, and clear interval. These comes under timer events. I think already I showed you them. In functions, I told you. In function concept, I told you function debounce. Remember the function debouncing? I told you how to handle debounce of a function. I explained that debounce is nothing but it will not execute immediately. It will take some time, delay. We learned about debouncing, right? Already we discussed about these points. While learning about date time, I showed you set interval. While learning about functions, I told you about set timeout. So we discussed a concept called function debounce. What is function debounce? Function debounce is function will not execute immediately. Even you click, the function will take some time, delay, and it will execute. I already showed you that while working with functions. That is done by using which one? Timeout, right? So in function example, we discussed about how the debouncing works. This is the option already I showed you. Set timeout, how it is used, clear timeout, how it is used. Already we discussed that. So this we discussed while learning about the concept of debounce, right? This example also I already posted, right? Already given to you. These comes under which category? Timer events. So we know already timer events also, right? Next important, we have another one is form events. Form events, we are having two different events. One is on submit, another one on reset. So these are the events defined for form element, and these events trigger using submit and reset buttons in form. So these events trigger using submit and reset buttons in form. On submit, another one on reset. So form events, these are the form events we are having. Actually, these events are written for form. Inside form, we write on submit some function, and on reset, so some function. That's the functionality we need to perform. You can write a function, you can just point towards that function also. Generally, what is the point is submit and reset buttons have default functionality. That means even you don't write any functionality, automatically some functionality is performed. So you are not writing anything, but it will perform some functionality. That mechanism is called as, I told you, generic buttons. In HTML, submit button, reset button are generic buttons. They already have a functionality. For example, suppose I am giving here, so form HTML. Suppose we are creating a form, and in this form, we have a form. In that, we have some username, and there is some text box. Input type is text. Name is equal to some username, and we have a button. This button is submit, and we have another button. So another button is reset. But both buttons work as submit only, because by default, button functionality is submit. If you want to restrict, then what you do, button type, you have to make it as what? Submit. Here, button type, what we have to make it as reset. Then what will happen is, these buttons, when you are defining this, so we are typing something and click on reset. For reset button, there is no logic written. You don't have any function, but automatically it can reset. Similarly, submit button, we haven't written any logic, but automatically it can submit. That means by default, these buttons have functionality. In future, when we are working with other technologies, in the front end, we will have a form, and we submit that information to backend like Java, .NET, or other technologies. When we submit to backend technologies, usually what happens, by default data is submitted. Along with that, we need to do some more work. That means we need to convert the data into JSON, and we need to submit that JSON data into that particular server. In that case, submit button is already doing some work. How we can give extra work? We can give extra work simply in the form you have to write on submit. We have to write on submit. And here we need to define the function. On submit, what it will do. On submit, you can write a function and call, or directly I am defining some alert. That means form data will be submitted. Like this we are giving. You can write any function. Similarly, we have on reset. On reset, we will put an alert. So, and just alert says, so form will reset. That's the option. Now you see here, when I am typing something and I click on reset, then what will happen? It will alert and it will display form will reset. That means additionally, we are defining some more functionality. Already, these buttons have a default functionality. If you want to add extra functionality, which generally you need while working with server-side interactions, mostly later if you are learning React, Angular, or other front-end technologies advanced, there we use these methods for submitting data into an API. In that case, we need these methods, right? So usually submit and reset buttons have default functionality. Now, this is okay. This is an example. That means already they have some functionality. And in addition to that, we are giving more functionality by using on submit, on reset. What in many interviews they ask is how to stop default functionality. That means in many interviews, that is one question for experienced people also, not only for fresher. For experienced people also, they ask this question. The question is how to stop the default functionality. How to stop the default functionality defined for submit and or you can simply say generic buttons. How to stop the default functionality defined for generic buttons. That is the point. Stopping the default functionality for generic buttons. Because already they have a functionality. How we can stop the default functionality? Actually, you see here, suppose we are not writing a function alert like this here. So you see, already you saw that whenever user enters some name and clicks on submit, it is submitting the form. You see in the URL, data is submitted. We don't want the default functionality. We want to define our own functionality. How we can stop the default functionality? Actually, suppose we are writing a script. In the script, so we are defining a function and we are writing form submit. In the form submit, I will use E. E is for event argument. I am writing a function here, form submit. Into that, I am passing event. I am passing event. I will try to see what that E contains. E will contain so many things. Actually, this is an object. How to know what are the properties in an object? We will write a simple logic for var property in E. This is used to know the properties list. I already told you, whenever an object is given to you, if that object is created by you, you know what keys it contains. If object is designed by somebody, you are working with it. How do you know what properties it contains? We can read all the properties by using property. And here, one more option is there, I will show you. And we are printing document.write property plus br line break. So we are presenting every property here. Submit. All the properties are coming. And you can see all the properties are coming. There are so many options here. You can observe there is an option called prevent default. There is an option called prevent default. That prevent default is a function. Now what we are doing here, so here we are using e dot prevent default. That is the function we are using. Prevent default. That means you see there is a function prevent default. I am using prevent default and I am using alert. Alert, I am saying that submit clicked and the default is disabled. Something like that we are defined. Now see what happens. So I am typing something and click on submit. Submit click. Default is disabled. Okay, it's not working. Default disabled means what? It is not submitting the value in URL. If I don't use prevent default, what will happen? See, if I don't use prevent default, you enter name and click on submit. It will show this alert and it will submit the data. Submitting the data is the default functionality. And how you are preventing? You are preventing the default functionality by using what? Default functionality is prevented by using which mechanism? So it is defined by using prevent default, right? This is very popular question even for experienced people in interviews, right? So by using event method prevent default by using the event method prevent default. How to stop the default functionality defined for generic? So you need to write logic like this. I will copy that. That's how we need to define. That is an example. Through event argument, you can access prevent default. Here, one more. Remember, these are all advanced interview questions. Very advanced, because several experienced people also don't have idea of this until or unless they learn advanced technologies in JavaScript. There they will know all this, but these are all JavaScript only. If you know at JavaScript level itself, that's good, right? So another option is there. Another is actually, so in interviews they ask another question is how to define an ordinary button to submit form. How to define an ordinary button to submit form? Not only ordinary button, you can submit form on any other events. Generally, form is submitted on which button? Submit button on. If it is an ordinary button, form cannot submit. Form cannot submit, right? For example, you see here, let's delete this. Okay. I will clean up this. Yeah. See, we keep an ordinary button. Ordinary button, how to define? So we will give button type as button. That means it's not a submit button. That means we will just give button as register, something like this. You see now, I am entering some name and click on register. It is unable to submit the form. Which button can submit the form? Only submit button can submit the form. In interviews, the question is, I want to submit on ordinary button. Not only on ordinary button, sometimes they ask like drop down. When drop down is changed, I want to submit. Because you see some websites, what they do, they ask select which city you are. When you select your city, then your city details are posted. That means we want to submit the form when city is changed. But usually form submit can happen only on submit button. But how you write submit on this button? For that, what you have to do is, for this button, we are writing on click, register click, and this form have some name, FRM register. You can have name, ID, anything. Then we will write a function. What is the function? Register click. On register click, we have to access FRM register. FRM register is the form. Have a method called submit. That means the form submit function is called for that particular form element. That means now what is the point? You entered some detail. You click on this button, then it should submit the form. Actually, this is an ordinary button. It cannot submit. But we made it to submit by using a small technique. The technique is nothing but we have to call the form. The form have a submit method. You can execute. You can execute any way. That means suppose a drop down is changed, you can submit. That means, for example, we are asking here username. Suppose, let's say here we have a data list, data term, username, data definition. Suppose this is the text box. We are having that username. After that, what we are doing, we are having so many buttons. We have another option city. We have another option select. In the select, we have an option like choose city. And we have option like Delhi, option like Hyderabad, like this. This have a name called city. Now what I want is, I want to submit the form. I want to submit the form when city is changed. But usually form is submitted only on these buttons. I want to submit the form on city change. Then how? Then how you have to write on change. On change, what we have to do is, so we will call the function that is some city change. On city changed, just I am roughly writing another function. Function, what is it? City changed. On city changed, what to do? FRM register dot submit. That's it. That means now what happens? You entered some name. After that, you clicked a city, then the form is submitted. You can see the values are there. You can submit on any particular action that can be done. So by using form submit method, we can do that. By using the form submit method, we can handle. Right. So in interviews, these questions are very, very common. So at experience level, these kind of questions are asked. So we should know about them. Now, if anybody asked you a question like, can a form have multiple submit buttons? Already we are having currently. I have a submit button, another one register button. We can have multiple submit buttons. We can submit data from multiple places. It's not necessary that we have to submit from one place. You can submit from different, right? That is. Next important, these are all form events. Another is we have touch events. Touch events are very latest. These will not work everywhere. These are only for the people who are learning mobile development. People who are learning Android, iOS, mobile development is there. When you are learning mobile development, these events will help because these are used for designing some interactions for touch screens. You can even practice them, only you have touch screen. If you don't have touch screen, you can't even practice. They are same like mouse, but they work with touch, right? So we have options like on touch start. So on touch, touch end, on touch move, touch move like this. These are touch events actually. On touch start, on touch end, on touch move like this. We can just, these are related to touch. But you can try them only when you have touch screen device. Otherwise, they can't work, right? So, for example, functionality is simple actually. So I will add a new page here, touch.html. Okay. Now here we are having some images, image source. So we have images, some image, some ASP.jpg. So width and height. Similarly, we have some image, some AWS.jpg. These are the options. So here I kept a paragraph. And in this, what we are doing is this is refresh. When I touch that, I want some details about that. That means I just want to use on touch. Just what you do is you need to write a function that is on touch start is equal to, we will write a function get details. Into that we are passing ASP. So here we are using on touch start, and here we have same get details, and here AWS. Now what we are doing, we are writing a script and we have a function, and function is get details. In that we are collecting the course. And here we are defining. So what is that is document switch first where P is document dot query selector, which one paragraph. Now we will use a switch. Into that we will pass the course. If the case is ASP, then P dot inner HTML, we want to display something. That means we want to display ASP.NET. So is a server side technology like this we are using. Just break. And if it is case as AWS, we are adding P dot inner HTML MSS. So AWS is a cloud service, something like this. We can add some. Now what should happen here is with the mouse you are clicking on them, nothing will happen, right? With mouse you are using them, nothing will happen. So we are clicking, nothing. You use touch screen, it will work. That to select them, then they will work. That's a same concept, right? It is only with the touch screen. You can increase the size when touched. You can move it from one place to another. You can add all styles and effects. But these you can practice only through a touch screen, right? So if you have touch screen devices, then you can try them, right? This is touch events. Even they work like same like mouse. I used mouse move. You can use touch move. Get x-axis, y-axis, so that user can move using touch. User can resize, user can adjust the width, heights, positions. All these we can do by using touch. These are not for general JavaScript people. These are for the people who are learning frameworks related to mobile. There we use HTML, CSS, JavaScript, but mobile frameworks are extra. The popular mobile frameworks we have like Apache, Cordova. We have like Ionic. We have like native script like this. People learn these frameworks extra. These frameworks are for mobile designing, mobile development. Means if you have to learn mobile development, generally we have Android, iOS. Along with Android, iOS, we have to learn this one. Apache, Cordova, Ionic. Actually, people learn like React, Native. There are so many. These are related to mobile development. There we have to use JavaScript with JavaScript is used with additional touch events like functionalities, right? These are extra frameworks. For example, you see, we have a framework called Cordova Apache. Yeah. This is Cordova Apache. This is Apache Cordova. This is building mobile apps with HTML, CSS, and JavaScript. But for that, you need to learn this framework. So if you learn the framework, you can build mobile apps which can run on Android, iOS. And for those people, extra majority events will be touch events. There they use these touch functionalities and all. That is for the people who are building mobile apps. They are involved in mobile apps. If you want to learn building mobile applications extra, you need to learn such frameworks. So if you learn those frameworks, you can build them. You can build. So these days, web related majority applications are watched on mobiles. That's the reason these mobile frameworks also very much learned by people. After they finish full stack development and all front end development, they learn Angular React. After Angular React, more further they want to go, then they will learn mobile development. These days we have good opportunities on them because a lot of applications are smart device applications. So that's the reason these events are not used everywhere, but this is a simple one, right? Suppose if any new event you have to work, how do you know about that event? What that event is having? Suppose after few days some new event comes. How you will learn about it? How you will know about that event, what that event is having? Sometimes you might have to work with some events which you never heard of. Then what you do is you have to write, say, simple basic logic so that you can know about any event detail. Just now we saw what we can use an event argument, and that event argument we can loop and we can read all the properties, what that event argument is having. Those properties we can use, right? So actually, suppose you want to know more about touch, then see what happens. If you want to know more about touch, I will give another example here. So touch demo.html. Yeah. So here, see, we are writing some script and we are having a image or something, image source. So public images and some ASP JPG, width and height. We are just having that image. Now important is we are writing an event called on touch move, and we will put here as move. That is a function. Let's write a function move. How to know what properties it is having? Just you have to pass an event. Then you have to collect that event. Then you have to write a logic for var property in E. Then document dot write, we have property. It is going to print all the properties belong to that touch move. You see now, I will open that touch demo. And in that, I touch that and move. You can see all options are coming. But see, some extra are there. Yesterday, I told you client X, client Y, right? But you see here, where is client X, client Y? There is no client X, client Y. You can observe that here, there are other options. You see, so many options are there. You can see there is no client X, client Y. If there is no client X, client Y, how to know where they touched? Because touch move is like mouse move. How do we know the position? Then observe here, there are so many options. There is a collection called touches. For example, what I will do now, I will write e dot touches. Actually, we want to know what is the touches, right? So let's remove. So document dot write e dot, what is it? Touches. And you observe here, so when I move e dot touches, it is a object. Then how do we know object? It is an array of objects. Array of objects. Usually, how we can access an array? array related members. That means what I will do is, suppose I will say 0. That means at 0 index, what is present? You can see there is a touch object, right? That means if I want to know what is present in that object, then usually all you have to write logic like this, same logic. That means what is the logic you need to write here? Same for, I will change the logic now here. Okay. We are writing here E dot touches. E dot touches we are writing, and you see 0, length and item. Suppose I want to know what is in 0, touches of 0. Then you can see it here, it is having client X, client Y. Like this, you have to explore or learn about any event. One by one, you need to check what it is having. Write a for in, write a for off. When to write for off if it is an array. When to write for in if it is an object. Then read the properties, read the values, and based on that, you need to understand. Because even today, people who already learned JavaScript from us, suppose 8-10 years back, they learned JavaScript from us. Even today, they will get in touch with us through email. They are already working in companies from more than 8-10 years. They learned from us JavaScript. Already working in companies. And working in companies from more than 8-10 years means they already have good experience in lot of projects. But still, sometimes they send us email saying that, sorry, in this project, I have to work with this scenario. Is there any such event which I can manage this functionality? They ask like, because then already you worked for 8-10 years now. So even you worked for 8-10 years, some events you may not know. Why you may not know? Because you don't need them. There are very rare events. Sometimes you will get an opportunity like to work with some rare type event options. Like suppose somebody says that in a project, whatever is present on screen, we have to read and announce that. How? How we can read and announce anything on screen? Through an audio out, we have to announce. JavaScript have such library. JavaScript have such library. JavaScript have a speech synthesizing library. What that speech synthesizing library will do is, it can speak and read what is there on page. But everybody don't need that. Very rarely some projects need that. And at that time they get doubt. Sorry, is there any option for this? Then we will tell that, yes, there is an option. Try this library. We will not tell that how to write the logic. We will simply say that try this library. Then what they will do? They will get the library, open the properties and details, and they read about that. They get all details of properties. They try one by one property and they will implement. That means developers need to work with so many such things which they haven't learned anywhere. Some projects need such rare type of options, right? These days, such accessibility options are very much more, because you see these days on mobile, screen narrators will be there. On your device, screen narrators will be there. Screen narrators because you put a headphone and you put your phone in your pocket, some message comes, it reads the message and announce. How? For that, JavaScript have a logic. JavaScript have an option for that. Actually, in JavaScript, we have a window. We have a window speech synthesis. window have a speech synthesis. By using this speech synthesis, so you can make any content speak loud. On speaker, it will announce. It will read and announce. Like that, so many options will be there. Why you cannot learn all those options? Because all those are not required everywhere. If you have to learn everything invented in JavaScript, you have to spend 1 year minimum for JavaScript. Minimum 1 year is required to learn everything invented in JavaScript. Right? That impossible. Anywhere in the world, nobody do that. Because time waste also. Why you will learn all unnecessary things which are not required? But sometimes you may use them. Rarely you may require them. Then what should be your ability? Your ability should be know about it by yourself and implement. If you cannot do that, then you are not suitable as developer. So in software development, everything we should not tell you how to do. You should able to explore how to do. That is the correct thing to learn, right? But majority of the situations, whatever used in real time, we are discussing. Some rare things, if you miss them means we don't need them, we don't train them. But very rarely you may require them. In that case, you can easily handle by yourself. You can explore by yourself, right? That I will show you. I already told you na MDN and all, you can get help from that and you can implement that. For example, see now, in these touches, we understood that touches is having client X and client Y, where it is having at 0. That means now how to access here. See what we will do. So when mouse is moving, so where img is equal to document dot query selector, what is it? img dot position, img dot style dot position. Position is what? Fixed. After that, img dot style dot we will put left. Left is what is it? E dot touches of 0 dot what? Client X plus pixels. I'm just using like this. Similarly, img dot style dot top, it should be E dot touches of 0 dot client Y. Actually, if it is mouse event, directly it is available E dot client X, E dot client Y. So now what we are doing here, when we are moving, that means here I will use an option here. This is move. That means the position, you can see you can move and put anywhere. That means refresh. Yeah. We can move and we can put anywhere we want. We can move and we can put anywhere we want. This I am doing with my touch screen, not with mouse. Right? To handle this, we have done with mouse. Right? This time I am just using with my touch screen. Right? These kind of actions are very much required. And there are rare events, new events, then you have to know by yourself, because they will not be same like other events. Some change, some new properties. You need to learn about them and use them, right? This is a simple example to understand how to know about events. How do we know about the events? Okay, right. So these all comes under the category of what? Events, browser events, right? So we have so many browser events, different categories of events. If you are perfect in events here, everywhere it will be same. In future, anywhere you are learning technologies, JavaScript based events will be same. Only the point is the implementation mechanism will little change. Implementation means event arguments, event handlers, event listeners. These will be little change. Rest of all will be same. So this is JavaScript related event handling, how we can manage the events. Next important in JavaScript. So we have another important JavaScript browser objects. We have JavaScript browser objects. Actually, this is BOM. We call BOM. This is browser object model. Actually, we know DOM. DOM is document. At a higher level, we have BOM, browser object model. Actually, JavaScript browser objects, we learned so many already. Already some browser objects we know. What are the browser objects? We have window, we have location, we have navigator, we have history, and we have document. These comes under browser objects. Already we used some objects. Window object, what is its purpose? It provides the properties and methods that are used to control the browser window. This already we used in so many places. You remembered what are those? We used open method, am I right? Window.open, right? So already I showed you, we have print method. In the beginning, I showed you window.print. And we have close, window.close. You remembered, you learned about alert, you learned about confirm, you learned about prompt, you learned all these, na? These all belongs to which one? Window. All these belong to window. Actually, what we are not doing, we are not writing window, because for window, we don't need to write window. So open, print, close, alert, confirm, prompts, all these comes under which category? Window. So usually window object provides all the properties for controlling the browser window and managing. You learned about alert, you learned about confirm, you learned about prompt. All these belongs to window only. Actually, you see, no need to explain because already we know all of them. Generally, suppose I want to show some alert. Generally, how do we write? We write alert. Actually, that alert belongs to which object? Window. Window dot what? Alert. For window elements, we don't need to write window. Directly you can define. You can directly define. Already in the very beginning, we discussed how to access elements in page. Window dot document dot images. You learn this now by using array reference. That means window is the parent for all. Is the parent for all. Window related, so many things we have discussed. Already we learned all these options. While working with the links, last session, double click and all, I showed you window.open. These related to window. So in the browser objects, we have a browser object called window, right? Next important in the browser objects, no need of example because everywhere we use them. Another object is we have location object. Location object, it provides the properties and methods that are used to get client location details. That are used to get the client location details. Client location details like we have host. Host is nothing but server name or IP address. IP address. We have protocol. So it returns HTTP, HTTPS, or FTP or file like that. What is the protocol we are using? Port. So it returns port number. So you have path name. So it returns current file path. And we have href, gets and sets complete URL. Href. We have search, gets the query string. Query string. We have like hash, gets the hash location ID. These are all location related details. So we have reload, reloads the current page. These are all location. That means what location object can do is, location object can get the information about client location details. That means it can get information about which IP address you are using, which port number you are using, which protocol you are using, what is the file you are using. All that information you can get by using location. Actually, location is nothing but address bar. In the browser address bar, what is present? In the browser address bar, we have http:// some site name.com. You remembered in the beginning in input, I told you query string. Remember now? How to access value from, what are the input techniques? What are JavaScript input techniques? In JavaScript input, we learned about 3 inputs. What are those? Input from form, input from prompt, input from query string. In query string, how to access query string I showed you by using location.search. It is used to access the query string, right? So URL related all details you can access here, right? So this majority of the options we know, we already used in some occasions. Just I am keeping all at one place, right? To understand the hierarchy I am keeping. These all simple details. See now, suppose I want to know, so here I want to know mouse move. I given this example. So here you see, I'm using a script. I'm just using document.write. So I will just put a heading, client location details. And see here, we will print the details, data list and data term. Here I want to get IP address. I want to get the IP address of the current user. Then how you will get the IP address is simply location.host we have to use. Location.host will get the IP address. Similarly, I am using another one. I want to know port number. Which port number they are using. Our current port number, you know, na, 5500 is the port number. Different applications run on different port number. Which port number they are using? If you want to know that, we have to use location.port. I want to know whether they are opening from live server or they are opening directly through file system. Sometimes what people do, directly open the folder, double click on HTML file, and they will open the pages. I told you that we should always run through live server. Whether they are using server or not, how to know? Whether they are using server or not, how we can know is actually. So here I will write a simple one, protocol. And here actually, how do we know whether they are using live server or not is nothing but here we need to write a logic. Logic is location dot protocol is equal to HTTP colon. If location dot protocol is HTTP colon, that means they are using live server. That means I am using a question mark. In the question mark, I am defining here. What is that? Yeah. Question mark we are using. So you are accessing from live server. Otherwise, colon, what is the value? Value is nothing but you are using file system. You are using file system. That is the message we are giving. Okay, like that, we have all the details. Now you run this and see, and you can see it shows your IP address is this, your port number is this, and you are accessing from live server. Sometimes what we do is we don't access from live server. We will open in Explorer. We will directly double click and open that file. Then you see it says you are accessing file system. In that case, IP address, port numbers are empty. We cannot get them, right? That means it knows from where you are accessing and it can display. It can get a lot of other details like, so your file name. What is the file name? We can get the file name by using location dot path name. Location dot path name. That means another URL, complete URL you can define. How we can define complete URL? You can define complete URL by using location dot what URL? Sorry, href, location href. It is going to get all the details and display. You can see it is accessing. Which file you are using, which protocol you are using, which port number you are using, everything can be accessed. These all details we can do that by using which object? Location. Client location related details you can access and display, right? Now, there is one more point here. What is that? So you learned intra-document links. In intra-document links, at the URL, you can pass hash and ID reference that tells what is the recently viewed topic. If you want to get hash, if you want to get query string means location search, already we know. If you want to get hash location, then you can use location hash. Currently, we don't have hash. Suppose I am using like this. So hash ID. What is the hash ID? Then you can just use location dot what? Hash. We can use location dot hash, but that requires intra-document link. Intra-document link means you see here hash ID is empty. Usually we pass in the URL hash, suppose HTML. It will get that and display. But that should display when you are using link. I will show you that how that hash ID reference works, right? Actually, what this location hash is going to do, it is going to return the hash, which one you are using. That means, for example, actually location hash, let's see that. You can see that location hash will come. What we are entering here, hash HTML, and whatever that hash HTML is there, it will come. What is advantage of this? The advantage of this is we can know what is the recently topic, which topic they are recently viewing. Generally, intra-document links means in that page what they are watching. Are they watching HTML? Are they watching CSS? Are they watching fashion or mobile, some category that you can access by using this hash reference. So you can access query string by using search. You can access hash. We can also put a reload button. We can have a button which can reload. Suppose we have a button, we can simply write on click. On click, we can use location.reload. Reload. Location.reload is nothing but, so it is just like refresh. That means you can have a button here. When you click the button, page will refresh. That means sometimes what we want is we scroll somewhere bottom. After scrolling bottom, from there I want to refresh. Instead of going to top, here we can click refresh. Usually you see these type of things in cricket websites and all. In cricket websites and all, ball by ball, some updates are coming. You have to refresh the page to get the new score. In generally auto refresh is turned off because usually auto refresh will be there. How to set auto refresh? You learned in Meta. In the introduction of Meta, I told you Meta HTTP equi is equal to what? Refresh. If you want to manually refresh, then you can put a refresh button by using location reload. These are all related to which object? Location. So what is the purpose of window object? To control the browser window, like alerts, like prompts, like confirms, like open, close, print, all are controlled by using window. Location object is related to your address bar. In the address bar, port number, protocol, IP address, everything you can access by using this. This is one example for that. Another important object, we have navigator. This is also a very important object, navigator. Navigator object. Generally, what is navigator object and how the navigator object works? Actually, navigator object is nothing but it provides the properties and methods that are used to access the client browser details. Access the client browser details. We can get the client browser details. Browser details means actually we have app name. So we have app name. This returns browser family name. Which family that browser belongs to. It will return that browser family name. App version. So it returns browser version. Which version browser they are using. So we have like platform. So returns client platform. Platform means what? Is it Windows 32-bit, 64-bit, or is it iOS? Is it Linux? Which platform they are using? We have like language. It returns the client language. Client language is English India, English US. Which one it will return? It have options like very important is geolocation also. This is important. Geolocation means it returns the client geolocation. Geolocation means from which city he is accessing. We can know his city latitude and longitude. Geolocation means it will not return a map. It will return the latitude, longitude, where it is. Based on latitude, longitude, maps can know what is his location, right? I will tell you that here. Suppose we have like plugins, we have like MIME types. So that is arrays. Plugins and MIME types indicates what are the extensions available. We have like cookie enabled. Cookie enabled, it is nothing but cookie status. So plugins are nothing but extensions. MIME types are nothing but file types. All these are navigator related. We can get the navigator related details. So app name, app version, platform, language, geolocation. These are all the basic details. Actually, cookie enabled, that is enabled. These are all important because when we are sending some information to client, before sending that information, we should know whether client browser is suitable or not. Means if he is using old version, then we should alert him that please update to new version. You see several websites, what they do when you try to open a website in a browser, it will say that please use this browser. And they will say that you are using old version, please update. They will say that cookies are not enabled, please enable cookies. Right? How they know our browser version? How they know about our browser platform? How they know about in our browser cookies are working or not? Why? Because to use options like next level, I will tell you about cookies. So to use options like login, you need a special feature called cookie. If that cookie is not there, login will not work. For example, see, suppose I am using some Chrome browser. In this Chrome browser, I am accessing Chrome settings. So we are accessing Chrome:/settings. In Chrome settings, I am searching for cookies. And you see cookies in that allow cookies, block cookies. Currently, I blocked. Okay. After that, I'm using Gmail. I want to log in into my Gmail account. Then I entered some Gmail account and clicked on next. Then immediately Google people say that cookies are disabled. How Google knows that in my computer cookies are disabled? That means somebody from our computer sends information to them and tells them that in their browser cookies are not enabled. And if your cookies are disabled, then login like option will not work. Why? Because cookie is nothing but cookie is a small file. In that file, your login details are stored. Until you log out, those details are maintained. That means even you close the browser, why your details still remembered? You see Gmail, you log in into Gmail and close Gmail without sign out. Next time when you open, you don't need to log in, directly it opens. You know that now? How it is remembering your information? because it stores that information in a file called cookie. You go to history and delete all cookies, then all your passwords and everything removed. Then again you have to log in. That means to remember the information when you log in up to log out, it uses a concept called cookie. And if cookie is not enabled, it cannot use that facility. So login will never work if cookie is enabled, disabled. How do we know whether it is disabled or enabled? So by using how they got this message? They got this message by simply writing a small logic. And what is that logic? Logic is nothing but just we have a script in that document.write. So we have a simple message. So, and the message is nothing but cookie. Here we will put a option. What is it? Navigator. Navigator dot cookie enabled. If navigator dot cookie enabled equal to true, then we will put a message. So you can view, you can log in. Just message I'm giving. Otherwise, colon, it should show a message. So otherwise, it should display a message. What is the message? Colon, it should display a message. Outside. It should display a message. What is the message? It should say that cookies disabled. Cookies are disabled. Just like how Google people showed. Now see, now I open this in my general browser. Here it says you can log in. But I will open the same page. I will open the same page here. In Chrome browser, I will open the same page here. Let's open the same page here. It says cookies are disabled. And what we are doing here again, we are enabling the cookies. You see, we are enabling allow cookies. And I will refresh now. Then it says you can log in. It will change the status. It can verify, right? That you can do by using this navigator. Actually, navigator is used for so many other details. Not only that, we can even know which version they are using. That means which version they are using means, suppose I am writing, so browser version. How to know the browser version? Navigator.app version. Navigator.app version is nothing but it will get the browser version and it will show all the details about that version. Not only that, we can get a lot of details. Like suppose I want to verify what is the status of platform. That means so you can use platform, means which platform they are using. Navigator dot what platform. Navigator dot platform, it will get the platform and display. That means Windows 32-bit, 64-bit, like that platform. These are the details usually maintained by which object? Navigator. In that, very important is knowing about cookies. Another important is geolocations. Geolocation means, observe here, I will open edge :/ settings. In the edge settings, I will search for location. Location settings are there. So here we will remove the locations. So these are the locations allowed actually. Reset the permissions. JavaScript allowed location ask. Okay. Now you see here, what we do is how to get the location details. Location details is nothing but usually you see websites. What the websites will do is when we open any website, they will ask allow your location. And when you allow, they know from which city you are accessing. How they know from which city we are accessing? Actually, that is not done through maps. Map will not do anything. For example, you see Rapido, Zomato, Swiggy, Uber, all these people, Ola, all these people don't use Google Maps. That is not Google Maps. They are not Google Maps. You may be thinking like they are using Google Maps. No, there is a separate map applications. They purchase those maps. Google Maps is not what they use. They purchase separate maps. That is paid service. That's not a free service. So usually there is a website, means there are so many people. We have like map box. Actually, this is map box. You see, this is one map box. This is maps and location for developers. Software technologies use these, not Google Maps. Means all applications use this. So that means don't think that Swiggy, Zomato, all these people are using Google Maps. They don't use Google Maps. It's a separate map service. You see, this is called Mapbox, and see the customers here. These are the customers. BMW, National Geographic, Toyota, CNN, these are using this Mapbox. That means in BMW cars, you will find navigation. That is by Mapbox, not by Google Maps. That means the map services are different. You see Apple phones and all, they will have a separate Maps app. They don't use Google Maps. You can have Google Maps, but they have their own maps. So own navigation systems, right? Actually, observe here, National Geographic people are using. National Geographic people are using means you can imagine these people's ability. That means National Geographic is using means they can reach very remote places. That means maps are available for very remote areas. So the point here is Google Maps is not the concept that everybody use. Suppose you are using Rapido. Now you want to book a bike or a car or something, right? You selected your location. Immediately, how they know your location? They know your location simply by using one JavaScript method. That JavaScript method, what it will do is, it will send your latitude and longitude to the Maps app. That means a Maps app is installed. In that Maps app, it needs your latitude, longitude. That means from your mobile or from your laptop, JavaScript will fire up. It will get your latitude, longitude and sends to maps. And those maps, what they will do? They will show your location on map. That is not Google Maps. That is completely a paid service actually, right? Usually we can write a logic like this. See, how to enable location? See, navigator dot geolocation. We have geolocation. Geolocation dot current position, get current position. Get current position, it uses a callback function. Actually, this current position is a callback. It is using a callback function. This callback function will return position. It will return position. Position contains coordinates. Coordinates contain latitude, longitude. You can know anybody's location by latitude, longitude. That means what we do, document.write, we will print those two details. What are the two details we need to know their location? One is latitude. How to get the latitude? Position dot coordinates dot latitude. And we need another one. What is it? Longitude. Longitude is, so position dot coordinates dot what? Longitude. You need to get that. These two are important. And you see now, when I refresh this page, it will ask allow location. That's what generally you do in websites. They ask allow location. Once you allow, next time it will not ask, right? So you say allow, then it will get your latitude and longitude. This latitude and longitude is sent to a map app, which is running inside. That map app shows your location on map. That means we will do one thing. We will use maps.google.com. In this Google Maps, what we will do is, I will copy this latitude and I will paste that latitude, comma. Another, I will copy the longitude, copy that longitude and search. It will show the current location here. You can see it shows the current location. That means based on the latitude and longitude, it shows the current location. It will display the current location. On the map, it will show the current location here. That means any person's location you can know by using this latitude, longitude. Directly map will not come. Map is an application. People have to purchase. What that application is expecting? Only latitude, longitude. That means latitude, longitude of yours and latitude, longitude of the person who is going to pick you up. Suppose if it is Uber or Rapido or that picks up and shows both locations on map. And what it is, because it is a paid service, it shows the live tracking of that location. Google Maps will not do that. Google Maps is not going to do that. That means Google Maps have limited, because Google Maps also have a paid service. You are using only free service. In free service, what they will do? They will just, you can share your location on WhatsApp or somewhere. You can track them. But more facilities are provided if you purchase, right? That means sometimes Google Maps in various occasions, they fail. Accuracy fails. But these people who purchase maps, they show very accurate locations because they pay money for that. That's not free. They pay money for that. And for that, they use a separate satellite navigation systems, right? That is very important. So actually, if you want to show here itself map, you need to use a map APIs. Actually, you can Google Maps API. There will be Google Maps API. You see, this is Google Maps API. So this is, where is it? Yeah, this is the Google Maps API. We have to select this Google Maps API. This is the maps for developers, actually. This is the Maps API. And you can see maps for any platform. So you see, by platform, Android, iOS. If you want to show maps embedded JavaScript, you see JavaScript is there. That means you can select. So you can select this JavaScript, Maps JavaScript API. You have a Directions API also. But many are paid services, right? Suppose I am selecting Maps JavaScript API. When I select Maps JavaScript API, it will show you the logic for that. That means it will show you the code. Now what we have to do is, we have to implement this code. That means it will give you the code. That means load Maps API. How do we load the Maps API? So here it will show you the logic for that. In JavaScript, what is the logic? In TypeScript, what is the logic? And see, everything depends on what? Latitude and longitude. You get those two locations and you have to show in a map API. And for that, actually, you need to link the APIs. You need to register for that. You have to, some are free, some you have to pay money. Some you can freely add, some you have to pay money and you have to define. Right? Usually that requires the complete concept of these API. It will show like this. It will show like this. That means where is your current location, and it will display like that. Right? And you can see, so it will give you all the options. You must enable billing. That means money payment is compulsory. They are saying that, so keyless access we are not supporting. You have to pay money to use this service. That means they are saying that free service we are not providing. You want to show maps and all, you have to pay money. Right? It is not a free thing that you can handle. Right? They say that, so you must enable billing on each of your projects. Then you can use that service. Many people don't use these maps. They will use others. Third parties, so many are there. Just like I showed you Mapbox, so many others are there. So usually everybody needs only one option. What is that? Latitude, longitude. How you can get that location? By using this, right? So this is one simple point to understand. Geolocation is access. How we can get the geolocation and display that point. These are very simple basic points of browser objects. Now, what are the objects? Window, location, another one, navigator object. Another object is actually history and document. Document you already learned. Document object is nothing but all get element by ID, document dot write, query selector, all these belongs to whom? Document, right? So one more object is there that we will see tomorrow. And tomorrow we are going to see this object related local storages and how to use local storage, session storage, some very advanced concept of JavaScript that we will see in tomorrow's session. Okay, right.